Today I'm on a 10-mile easy run. I'm going to cover today the 111 route outbound from Piccadilly. First of all though, I've got to get this running. This is crazy to think that my long runs, which are done once a week, one day a week in running, if you're not familiar with it, you do a long run. And it's always on a Sunday for me. It used to be just 10 miles. That was my run. And it wasn't just, it was a bit of a run to do that. Now, the minimum distance I'm doing every day is 10 miles. I've got 2.7 kilometers to go in this 16k run. I'm 13.3 kilometers into it. Honestly, it feels so good, like I could just put the hammer down and run quicker, but it's very important to just not and hold back. My legs feel so good though. I am incredibly grateful to be able to just be out here doing this, running, training, having the fitness I've got. I've worked hard for it, but what you get with one hand can be taken away with the other. I'm always feeling like I'm blessed to be getting out here and doing it. It's good to see people in the comments saying that they took a bit of motivation from it and they're losing weight. One guy said he lost a stone in 4 weeks. It's just so good to see, especially that people are like saying I'm the reason. Just be careful with the weight loss. If you are out there losing weight for the first time or whatever, what usually tends to happen is the weight comes off pretty quick at first. Say like a stone in 4 weeks is really good, but it starts to stagnate and then you start getting like pounds, 2 pounds here and there, and you feel like you're being robbed for the mental effort you're going through, because it feels like you're starving yourself and you're not getting the same returns. Just be careful with that. Be consistent. It will come off. Don't try and do too much too soon. Nearly at the 14th kilometre. Trying to do kilometre to mile conversions, it's hard. I work in kilometres, so 16.1 kilometres is 10 miles. 13 kilometres is about 8 miles. 11k, just over, is 7 miles. So I'm kind of gauging off that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this run up. "10 miles finished. That feels good. Chewing up 10-mile runs like they're nothing these days now. When I said my long runs used to be 10 miles, believe me, there was a time before that where there was not even a long run. There was a time before that where there was just no running, and I was like 19 stone. I'd let myself go. I've trained my whole life, but it's always been weightlifting and stuff like that. Then I just got to the point where I was just like, just putting weight on after having kids, and I needed to fix my shit up and get my act together. When I speak about dieting and stuff like that, I speak from experience. I've lost so much weight over the years. Lost it, gained it back, lost it, gained it back, but that was 16.10 kilometres, 4:30 kilometre pace, which is 7 minute 15 mile pace. There was a time where there was just no running from me. So when I say I'm extremely grateful to be able to do this, it's been built from a base of nothing, but it comes now with the strength of everything, what it seems like at the minute. The video today that I'm going to do is, like I said, it's the outbound of the 111, and when you see me do these videos, or when I'm doing these videos, just take it for what it is, which is just a little bit of fun content. It's also educational for other drivers, the new drivers that are coming into the industry, that are coming into the depot as well. I get a lot of positive comments, but sometimes it can come across where it's like I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying what bus stops are busy, what bus stops aren't busy, where people usually board, where people usually get off. Typical just behavioural traits that I've noticed in certain services where you get an influx of passengers and then they come off and stuff like that. So, you know, there's that to think of, and that's what I'm covering on the video so people can be aware of it. Plus it's a route video as well, and there's always something worth taking from that. It's just me covering the perspective of what it's like driving a bus around Manchester, even one of the busiest bus corridors in Europe. So I'm going to leave it there now and take you straight to the video. Got to load these people up now and get this bus on the go. This can be a bit of a ruthless stand, this, and the 142 and the 143 and the 43 stand there, because we all go the same way for the majority of the service, and a lot of people are just looking to get near rush home, basically. So if there's nobody at that stand, but you've got people waiting at that stand that are going in this direction, they'll just come over here once you put your numbers up anyway. So you always have to bear that in mind when you're at the stand, and don't throw your numbers up too late, because even though there's nobody here, there still might be people watching the bus that'll see it from over that stand and that stand. 111, out of town, through the filtered lights, round here. Going through these lights here can be a problem. Right, there's already someone with the hazards on. You get that a lot. When you come through this set of lights here and you're doing a left, you'll get, this is the AA, I've not seen them there before, but usually what you're going to get is you're going to get coaches and taxis that just park up here with the hazards on, nobody's even in that. And then they block the stand, they block that side of the road up, so you've got to move over. And if there's a bus in front of you, you have to just gauge it off their reaction. If they're indicating over to the right, that means there's something blocking the way, because usually they won't indicate over to the right. And then we do a left now on Princess Street. Yesterday there was temporary traffic lights here. Temporary traffic lights don't have to do my shedding, but you get a lot of them during the holidays. It's like two sides of a coin. So you get, it's not busy in the holidays because there's no kids and there's less traffic on the road and the schools are all shut and the colleges, but you get a lot of roadworks. And why do they do roadworks? They do roadworks for the same reason, because it's quiet in the holidays. So we pull here. Now we stop at the first stop here, but nobody wants it. Oh, and the temporary traffic lights have gone. That is decent. See, you're just weighing up people's body language at bus stops. So many services stop at that stop. Could easily pull in there, open the door, nobody gets on. Oh, there's temporary traffic lights here, they've moved. 4-way. Oh, it was 3-way yesterday. Oh, that's so bad. Right, so we've copped for the 4-way ones. We've still got the bad temporary traffic lights here. That's savage. Everyone will cop for these as well, because this is, everyone uses Princess Street to on the service. They just do. That bus won't move in then. Yeah, we come through here. Those are red light cameras there as well, but I suppose that's been disabled. Now we turn here and follow this round. There's a bus stop here on the left, which, if there's a bus in front of you, just slow down and just gauge people's reactions off it, because nobody wants it. If you pull around it too fast, you might miss people. But nobody wanted it there. I made sure I slowed down and checked. So we do a left now at Oxford Road Station. It brings us back onto Oxford Street, Oxford Road, and then we stop at the last bus stop. Yeah, we stop at the last bus stop where the 43 stops, the 143 stops. The only services that we run from the depot that stop at the bus stop before that is the 85 and the 85A and the 86s. They stop at the bus stop before. We stop at the end bus stop of all these stops now, going down Oxford Road. See, now it's just a case of waiting your turn here to turn. Usually the lights go on green after the green man's been there, and it has a countdown. So they'll go on green on our side now. And we turn here. Always worth checking your mirrors before you turn, because you should do anyway, but that is a problem area for you just eat cyclists and all that sort of stuff. Right, there's someone already calling out for a bus at the end. And someone already running up for the bus. "17 services stop there." Yeah, 17 stop at that bus stop alone, and it's more or less the same down this road. So this is where I say it's really good if people give you a clue that they want the bus, because there's that many services going so many different ways once they get to a certain point that you need, if people are stood there, they're not necessarily waiting for the bus that you're going to be. So you're looking for a clue, like a hand signal, a thumb, a gesture, something. Someone's already pressed the bell, so we're stopping at the next one anyway. We come up here and stop at this one. You can literally stop at all of these. But we're going to make it to the timing point on time anyway. But this is what I was saying when I say at that bus stop, the 111 bus stand in Piccadilly, where people will get the bus because you go in that way, and a lot of the services go the same way. So I'm going the same way now that the 143 goes, the 43 goes, the 85 and the 86 go, and the 85 and 86 turn here. But a lot of people that would have been waiting for them buses would have got on this if I put my numbers up before that driver at that bus stop threw their numbers up, if you get what I mean, because it's going the same way. So even though there's no one stood at your bus stop, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get any customers and no one's waiting for the bus, because people are waiting. They're just waiting at other bus stops and see your numbers come up and think, oh, I'll get that one, it's going that way. Right, so this is where the 50 turns out here. The 50 comes out from here and it comes onto Oxford Road here. So we're at the lights here just opposite that. The bell's gone, nobody's at the bus stop up there though. But this is literally nothing, we've not deviated from any bit of the route yet, so like anyone that's getting off here have a good day. Anyone that's getting off here could have easily got the 85, 86, 43, 143 and any other services that go this way. So this is why you've got to be cautious at Piccadilly. Right, now when we come through here, these lights are on green, they'll stay on green as well, because they've not even changed yet for that 42 to come through. So the 85 turns there, we continue up and we go the same route as the 43 and the 103. The 43 and the 143 still. So we're pulling in at this bus stop here because there's people waiting here. So, pull off that stand there. Right, now, come up past the Manchester Universities here. And there's still a few more bus stops before we go our own way. Timing point, so we're a minute late at this timing point. We're looking for people to give us a clue here. So I left that timing point a minute late, but it's going to tell me I'm left 2 minutes late. Yeah, it'll tell me I left 2 minutes late. Right. Now we come up here and we do see most other services going down Oxford Road, the 43 and the 143, the 142 and everything, they all continue on. We do a right at the neck, not this set of lights, we go through these set of lights, then we do a right. So this is the last bus stop that we serve on Oxford Road before we turn, before the Curry Mile.
And this is a busy stop. People get off at this stop all the time. People board this stop and get off all the time. And these lights, when they go on green here, they don't stay on green for long. So you have to be cautious when approaching it. If you see them on green and you're a bit away from it, they're going to change to red. They stay on green for about 10-15 seconds, if that. And then they're straight back to amber to red again. Sorry, people calling for the bus here. I'm stopping anyway. It's always nice to leave a little bit of room here as well and stop actually at the stop in case there's a bus behind you. Now when we're leaving this bus stop, you throw your right indicator on and you pull out into the actual right hand lane when it's clear, and you get into the filtered lane where you turn. Now the lights are currently on green, but the filter's gone off. So we can go through there because they're still on green, and we can turn there right the way around. Right. Someone's already pressed the bell for this stop here. Now we're back on Moss Lane East, so you come out of here. This can be a bit of a tight road at times. Go down here. There's one more bus stop to serve on this road before we do a left. People usually get off here, and people usually get off. There's a bus stop just as you do a left, straight away, like straight away there's a bus stop. People usually get off at both of these. Not many people board here, but people do get off here. Sometimes people will get on at the shops there and they'll get off here or just after the lights. Have a good day, mate. Right. Now we'll come out here. Let's see if the bell goes for the next one, because the lights are only up there. Yeah, the bell's gone. So as soon as you do a left at these lights, you got the bus stop at this church where we were turning back in. Honestly, it confused me doing these routes at first, because I thought once I know the way going in it's sweet, but then on the way coming out everything's on the opposite side of the road and it's all different. Right, so when we come round here, there's people stood at this stop anyway, and it's straight away here. So you indicate off and we come to the junction of Great Western Street here. The next bus stop is past the lights. Very popular stop. The bus stop after that's a very popular stop. Even the bus stop after that's a very popular stop for people getting off. Because don't forget, like, we're probably just a little under halfway into the route now, so everyone that was getting on at Piccadilly are reaching the point where they're getting off. And usually people get off here, the next stop, and the stop after that. They're the most popular ones. Here's a fun fact. On Great Western Street we built most of these houses. We put the floors in on most of these houses years ago. Years ago when they were all being built, all the new builds. They're now more or less old builds. So come straight over these lights and be careful when approaching this curb. It's a high curb, and as you approach it, right, you'll see a lot of scrot marks on it where the buses have just tried to do a nose sweep and go over it, and it's just grazed the curb. Some buses, some curbs, you can go over some curbs and you call it a nose sweep, where the front end of your nose of the bus goes over the curb. Yeah, you have to be careful with the passengers on board, but sometimes you have to do that to turn corners, or people do it when they're pulling into bus stops, and you gotta be careful, because that was a lunatic. Before, some of the buses are just too low for it, and you'll go in to pull into the stop and it won't do it. Right, so come off here now and we do a left. Let's see if the bell goes again. Most likely. It's a popular little stop. This is where I was saying on the way in. I was saying you can't go past that AVL line because some cars go to there. It makes it harder for the buses to turn. If there's a car parked there, you just won't be able to turn. Just standard. You just have to just stay here until the light cycle and that car goes, because you have to take this corner pretty tight like that, and you come right over the corner. And then it's kind of tight going through here because usually, Royal Mail again. No one's pressed the bell for this stop though, which is a bit of a bonus because usually the bell always goes there. Right, so now we come over, and the next turning was the tight turning coming in, where we were turning onto Claremont Road. Now we're turning off Claremont Road back onto Yew Tree Road. So as we come off it, we do a turn. And also what you'll find, right, is people ask you if you're going to, the next bus stop's called Carlton Avenue. So they'll say, are you going Carlton Avenue? Now if you don't know every single bus stop on that route, you're not going to know. I didn't even know that bus stop was called Carlton Avenue until I just looked at it on the ticket machine there. So this road is Yew Tree Road, what we turn onto. But every bus stop that is on the road, the bus stop name is the street that's adjacent to it. So we do a right here and pull in. Carlton Avenue is there, opposite, on the right hand side of the road. So that's why this bus stop is called Carlton Avenue. So this bus does not go down Carlton Avenue one bit, but people will say, are you going to Carlton Avenue? And you're like, I don't know. Because you just about know the road you're driving down. You're not going to know the roads that come off these roads at the same time. Do you know what I mean? So it's a weird one when people go, do you go to this bus stop? And you're like, I don't know. The best thing to do if you're ever looking for where the bus goes is just check it on the B Network app, and it will tell you. Not many people use it. Not many people use it as much as what they should do, because that has all the diversions on there and everything. And we'll pull off here. Right. Now, the timing point coming in is not the timing point going out. So Platt Lane bus stop there, which was the timing point coming in, it's not the timing point going out. Our timing point coming outbound, the second one after the MRI, is Hart Road, which is the bus stop after this one. And nobody's pressed the bus here. You do get a couple of wheelchair users that board and get off here from the shops on the Curry Mile and usually get off here. But anyway, we come through this. This will tell us whether we're early or late now. Right, we're 3 minutes early. So there's a contrast. We left that stop 2 minutes late. The MRI. I know now that you press the bus stop at the top of the thing, and it gives you what time you should be at every bus stop for. I didn't even know that. A lad called Ishak told me. He's a bus enthusiast who gets on now and again, whose little brother gets on as well, called Rara. So I hope you're having a good day as well, mate. Alright, pal. So yeah, Ishak and Rara, they got on, and he says his little brother notifies him every time I put a video on. So that's cool. I like that. I like that. That's top. So we're waiting here now for 2 minutes before we leave, because this is the timing point. But if I press the Hart Road bus stop, that'll give me every single bus stop I've stopped at and the time I've stopped at it. So I stopped at the Royal Infirmary at 11:22. I should have been there at 11:21. By the time I left there, it was 11:23. And then I'm all the way down here, and I'm down here early by, I was on time, I was late, and then I started getting on time, then I started getting early. So the Platt Lane bus stop, I was there a minute early, and this one I was here 2 minutes early. So we can leave now. But it's a little fun fact I never knew. So now the next timing point is the actual place where we come to stop the bus. which is Southern Cemetery. So go across this junction here with caution. This is actually Hart Road here. This is Yew Tree Road. That's why that bus stop's called Hart Road. So come up here, and this is usually a popular stop. You can do your shedding a little bit, because if the lights are on green here, you have the bus stop right before the lights. So you can literally get stuck for a cycle of lights on this one. You have a good day, mate. Now, the bus stop opposite, there's a bus stop over these lights. Not usually busy. These are usually like bus stops that people are getting off at. You've usually utilised most of the bus stops you're going to stop at by now. You'll get the odd one where you'll pull in now and you'll pick people up to go to Withington Hospital or Southern Cemetery from here. But a lot of the times from this point on, you can just be cruising all the way to Southern, depending on the time of day. Stop at this one. But mostly you're just letting people off for the most part. So where we're coming up to now, where we are on the map, is... Have a good day, mate. We're on the map now. When we come over this next set of lights, we're going to be more or less near the roundabout where we turned at Lamb's Accountants on the way in. So we get over this junction and there's a bus stop straight away on the left which nobody's at. And then there's a bus stop at the end of the road just before the lights, which can be just before the roundabout, which can be a popular one, I suppose. People do get on there. Not many people bother with this one, in my experience anyway. It's not one of the busier ones. But you come through here, a bit of a tight road, bit of give and take, like I was saying on the way up here. You've got to give a bit of give and take here, because people park. There's no limitations to the parking on either side of the road, so people double park here. Come round this one. Now we're good to go. Someone's already getting off at the bus stop just before the roundabout, which I said can be a bit of a busy one. So this bus stop here leads onto Wimslow Road onto the left here. Just where we are now on Wimslow Road, on the opposite side of the road is where the Sainsbury's would be, near the Costa, just not far from the Christie. Have a good day. Have a bit of caution here when you're setting off. Out of this. Right, now as we come over this roundabout here, be careful because you have to give way to the right, but it's not usually a busy roundabout, which can catch you out. We come round here. Now if we was to go and do a left here, which we're not, we're doing a right, we would be more or less at the junction of Sainsbury's, where the Christie would be just down there, where the 143 terminates service just after that. So we're doing a right here. Always take your time here. Come round here. The bell's already gone for the next stop, which is just up here on the left. Someone's stood at it as well. Right, okay. So let's pull in here. Now, what we've had here is people having some falls on the bus and things like that, so if you see someone getting on that's struggling, like that lady was then, you've got to give them a minute to sit down before you set back off, because you just can't be flying off the mark. There's my mate Alan. Yes. Right, so you can't, you know what I mean? Come round here now. We're still going to get to the timing point and we're still going to get there on time. and we're still going to leave on time because Southern is a quiet place. So nobody's pressed the bell and nobody's getting off or on here at this next stop. And the stop after this one here, we're at Burton Road, right? We're on Burton Road, we're coming up here. This next stop is a problem stop. Not many people are there, not many people get on, but you can never access it because of the way the cars are parked here. You just can't access it. So you have to more or less stop on the road if people want to get on or off here, because you're just never pulling into that stop. I don't think I've ever pulled into that stop properly because you just can't. That really needs just moving that one and getting off. So come up down here now. We joined Burton Road, like the tight part of Burton Road here. Where I was saying, where we joined this is the tight part of Burton Road where them lights are going to go on green before these lights. So if there's a bus there, give it a bit of space and pull back earlier. Because they go on green for anyone turning here. That's a nice bit of artwork up there though. Someone's already pressed the bus stop for the next stop. The next stop isn't Withington Community Hospital, it's the one just before it. But this is a nice little village place here, so a lot of people like to jib off here. And there's a lady got on with a Zimmer frame, yeah, that was struggling. So when people get on like that, you got to have that in your mind. Like, make sure you leave them the nicest gap to get off the bus, and you're close to the curb. Sometimes you just can't stop and close to the curb, like I said with that stop there. But a lot of the times you can. I think the adequate one in training, it says like between 6 to 9 inch gap you got to leave. You can actually on your test get penalised for going too close to the curb. But sometimes it's nice to get close to the curb just to let people off, like this lady that got on that was struggling is getting off here. Lower that for her. Have a nice day. Right. So now we can come out of there. Right, here we go. We're basically on the home stretch here now. We're coming out of this and bell's gone. So the next stop's the Didsbury Mosque. This is a tight road coming up or coming down it, so be careful. So we're going to stop at the Didsbury Mosque. We're probably not going to be able to pull in there. Well, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And then usually we don't stop then until we get to Southern. Not many people get on or get off after we do a right here back onto Barlamore Road. So we're coming in now and we'll let these off. And now we go off. Here we go. You got to watch pulling off, man. People just aren't overtaking you. People overtake you. Who wants to be stuck behind the bus? Nobody. I think the worst thing you can do when you're driving is try and drive for other people. Even though sometimes it's kind of like you want to, don't you? You want to say, come on, go, there's a gap there, but you can't rush people. You just got to focus on your own stuff. So now we've done a right here. We basically, I can almost guarantee we're not going to stop. Although, right, there's a problem here because the bell's gone. But I've not heard it go. I'll explain this in a minute if nobody gets off. Right, what's happened there is the person that got off pressed the bell. I opened the door and I closed the door and she's got off, but it's not cancelled the bell signal out on the bus. So when people press the bell on these street decks, these new ones, on the old ones, on the hybrids and on the electrics, we had a big red sign, it said bus stopping at the top. We don't get that now. All we get is a little green bell icon on the dash here, and you hear the bell obviously, but you don't, all the time, you don't hear if the bell's been pressed. It gets pressed that many times. So you'll just see the bell icon and you'll think, has that been cancelled off from the last time I opened the doors, or someone pushed it? So then there on the side of caution, you end up stopping and nobody gets off. We can take the numbers off here because we're done. End trip. Right, we don't leave here now for another 9 minutes. There we go. That was the last person got off and we are done. We can close the door, turn the engine off, get a bit of peace, relax. Usually there's no one at this stop. There was 4 or 5 people there when I first set off this morning, but there's nobody at this stop. So not that you don't throw your numbers up till last minute, but you can throw your numbers up with 2 minutes to go here and still safely collect everyone and leave, because there's nobody more or less ever here, and if they are here, you're gonna see them in the vicinity. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, get off the bus here and chill out, relax. Right, the next time you see me, it's going to be break time over there at Southern Cemetery, because right now I'm going to just relax for a minute, check my messages. April was a nightmare last night. She was awake all night, and we're going to see. Anyway, that's it. Bosh.